Good morning and welcome to Palm Springs. It's 5:30 AM and I'm about to start the Cactus2Clouds Trail. This will take me from around 400 feet in elevation here in the valley in Palm Springs up to over 10,800 feet at the summit of Mount Jacinto. It's a long walk, let's have some fun. The sun has just risen over the mountains on the other side of the valley and I'm now nearly 1,000 feet up. And this is the first major landmark on the route, the picnic tables, which have got an absolutely fantastic view down over Palm Springs. As this is the Cactus2Clouds Trail, it's only appropriate that I stop to look at some of the cactus growing along the side of the trail before I get too far up. I'm now about 1,600 foot above sea level, and from here I can start to see some of the many wind turbines that take advantage of the wind funneled up through the pass north of Mount San Jacinto. I'm now about 2,000 feet above where I started, and it's taken me about an hour and 40 minutes to get here, which is a little faster than the pace that I'd set. It's starting to get a little warmer now. The air's not too bad, but the sun is higher in the sky, so the heating from that's starting to become noticeable. So I'm going to put on some sunscreen, a hat and some sunglasses now, and then continue the 8,500 feet to my destination. This is the first of 2 rescue boxes on the trail. This is provided to help those who've encountered some problem on the trail or come unprepared. And what they ask you to do is, if you have spare water, they ask you to leave one here, just in case somebody's in need of it. So I'm going to pop one in here, because I've brought plenty. I've got more than enough to get to the summit. And hopefully nobody will need it, but it's there just in case. It's 8 AM and I've been going now for about 2.5 hours, and I've now reached 3,000 feet above my starting point. The last 1,000 feet has actually been mainly switchbacks, so it's covered that 1,000 feet in quite a short distance. One of the highlights of that last section has been watching some hummingbirds feeding. I'm now at about 3,700 feet above sea level and encountering my first trees. I'm now at about 4,000 feet above where I started this morning, and that means I'm about halfway to my first stop at the ranger station, and then there's another 2,300 feet to the summit beyond that, so a long way to go yet. So apparently that's 5 miles gone, which I can confirm from my own GPS, which is showing me 8 kilometers in. This particular section has a lot of downhill as it's crossing some rolling foothills. And of course the downhills are nice and fun, but every foot you lose, you know you're going to have to regain soon enough. And to illustrate the point, looking at that hill opposite, there's a path that's going diagonally down from the top right down to the middle bottom, roughly at the same level I am here. It's taken me 10 minutes to regain that same elevation. Now I'm getting closer to the main part of the mountain. I'm starting to look up and wonder how on earth the trail finds its way up amongst all of that bare rock. But I know it can be done, and I know it's going to be steep. A couple more 1,000 feet to go before the worst bit though. I'm now about 5,200 feet above where I started, and this point's quite interesting because first of all it's about halfway in elevation from where I started to the summit, with about another 5,200 feet to go, but also it's approximately the same amount of elevation gain as from the Colorado River to the rim of the Grand Canyon, a route I've done a couple of times. So in effect I've climbed all the way up the Grand Canyon and I've got to do it all again. From here I can see, and in fact hear, the tramway station, a cable car that goes up to the mountain. That's at about 8,500 feet. So there's another 2,300 feet more beyond that. The summit is currently out of view. I'm now about 6,000 feet above where I started in Palm Springs. The last 1,000 feet or so has been quite steep and quite hard going, especially as the air is getting thinner now. So now here at about 6,500 feet above sea level, we're starting to get into the tree line, the place where the big trees grow. There are a few smaller trees further down, but this is where the big pine trees start growing. With the tram station now in clear view and seeing trams going up and down, I'm still wondering how on earth the trail manages to scale this extremely steep rocky cliff face here. No doubt we'll find out in a moment. I've now reached 7,000 feet above Palm Springs, and there's now less than 1,000 feet to go to the plateau where the ranger station and tram station are located. The next section starts out pretty easily, it's pretty level following the contours, but then it gets extremely steep, ascending up the cliff to the plateau. And the steep climb begins here. Alright, after about 7.5 hours of hiking, nearly 8,000 feet, I've now reached the plateau. So, time to go grab some lunch. So I'm here at the ranger station at 8,400 feet, so about another 2,400 feet to go to the summit. I've got my permit, so I'm allowed to hike in wilderness. I'm mixing it with everyone who's got off the tram, and I must admit there's a certain feeling of superiority as I've hiked up 8,000 feet to get here, and most people here have got the tram. So I'm going to go head up for another 2,400 feet, probably another 2.5 hours or so to the summit of Mount San Jacinto. This is roughly the halfway point from the ranger station to the summit, so quite a distance yet to go. I've made it to the top. It's 10,834 feet. I started at about 400 feet, so I've climbed over 10,400 feet, which is nearly 2 vertical miles. But I'm not done yet. I now have to head 2,300 feet back down the mountain to the tram, where I'm going to have a celebratory pint of beer and get the tram or cable car back down to Palm Springs.